Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of the Entertainment Offsite. I have to say this episode is really interesting. We're going to be talking about entertainment in the Metaverse. I'm pretty sure you came across with the term Metaverse, but maybe you don't know, so I'm going to read a definition of Metaverse. By definition, Metaverse is a network of 3D virtual worlds focused on social connection. In futurism and science fiction, it is often described as a hypothetical iteration of the internet as a single universal virtual world that is facilitated by the use of virtual and augmented reality headsets. It seems indeed a bit tricky at first, and that's why we brought this amazing panel of speakers that will tackle with us the possibilities of the metaverse in the entertainment industry. Welcome, guys. I think the audience will appreciate a round of introductions from your side. So, Paul, you can start, maybe.
Hi everyone. I'm Paul, one of the co-founders and CEO of Sceenic, and we power watch together experiences inside the apps of BT Sport, Yes Network in the US, NBA League Pass, PCCW, and others. Nice to be here virtually with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. Hi, Rob.
Hey, this is Rob Corner. I'm one of the founders and the Chief Business Officer of Tiledmedia. And Tiledmedia is a 5-year-old startup that powers also BT Sport and Sky Worlds for extremely high quality VR streaming. And we recently also powered a certain winter sport event from Beijing with a lot of live and on-demand content in really unparalleled streaming quality.
Perfect. Thanks for being here. And last but not least, hi, Pierre.
Yeah, hi, everyone. I'm Pierre. So I'm CPO CMO at 3SS. And yeah, we've been focusing on the last 13 years on creating the best possible entertainment experiences on any device and basically defining, designing, and developing these experiences on all of the different platforms. So yeah, let's see what's the next platform we have to be.
Yeah. So, well, I don't have to say that I'm also from 3SS, but I am. Well, thanks, guys, again for being here. And after this round of introduction, let's dig into the topic directly. And the first question is for all of you, and it's, what are your experience with or opinions about the metaverse so far? And I think, Paul, you can start if you want.
Yeah, so I was really excited when you guys told me about this topic. So the way I look at it is like this. I look at it as the internet before today, right? So as we used to call it in the 90s, the World Wide Web was designed mostly for single user experiences, right? Read an article, get a share link, send to a friend. They read it later, give the opinion back, or maybe we jump on a call or video call to talk about it, right? Listen to music the same way, right? Watch videos, and so forth. So to me, the first stage of the internet was like the alone or single user experience internet, right? Now, the metaverse, to me, like you said in your introduction, the words are shared experiences, right? It's now 3D, of course. You're in virtual worlds and so forth. But to me, the metaverse is about shared experiences, right? So going to a concert together where you watch very high quality video, right? But going with your friends and not just seeing them, but maybe feeling. Can we get closer to feeling like we're together? So that's what the metaverse is to me. It's like a shared experiences land.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Rob?
Yeah, it's a difficult question. You just read the definition of the metaverse. I was going to ask whose definition, because how many people you asked, there will be so many definitions of the metaverse, and I don't even think there will be one metaverse. But for me, somebody who's been in VR for since the last hype, I would call it a hype, and this is sort of a new hype. But throughout these hypes, technology develops. And technology develops to have shared experiences in some sort of a virtual space. I think that's the basic gist of it. And then people tend to link it to NFTs and blockchains and Lord knows what. I don't think that's all essential. For me, it's just to have shared experiences in some sort of virtual space, bringing people closer together. Maybe that's the essence.
I think that's amazing. And replying to your question, indeed was a lot of definitions. So I did what I did as a student and check Wikipedia because it's the first search.
It's a good source.
Pierre, what's your take on this?
So it's a super important and I would say difficult question at the moment to answer, because I think everybody is hearing it from multiple angles, and especially when you look at it from business side, everybody wants to understand what's coming to be early and map this. Okay, what does it mean for my business? How do I need to maybe change my product, my services to be part of that? I think nobody has today yet the answer. What is this final experiences that we're going to have in this metaverse? But I think it's definitely going to be an experience. It's going to be definitely something we do together. You don't do alone. So I'm with Paul here, 100%. It's a social experience. It's a shared experience. And I still see right now that it's still driven a lot by the gaming industry. I saw that Microsoft, now they bought one of the biggest gaming companies, and they did that because they know this is probably where the whole thing starts. So I think we're going to have in the next years, that this will not go away. The term metaverse, I think it will stay for a very long time, but I think it will evolve to what we all understand from it. But at its core, I also think it's the better version of what we see today, that you see a lot of people looking into their phones, trying to connect with people, talk to each other. And I think it's going to be much more immersive, and it's going to be much more fun, much more creative than looking at a screen and try to interact with each other through that screen devices. Let's call it like this.
Thank you for your amazing answers. The next question is only for Paul. So Paul, Sceenic is a leader in the industry powering experiences with its What's Together SDK. So what's Sceenic view on this topic, and are you already developing something for some kind of shared experience for the metaverse?
So we, as you said, we power, watch together / shared experiences, right? A friend of mine watched one of the concerts a couple of weeks ago in the Metaverse on Oculus, and she was, and Pierre's kind of smiling, right? She was in the lobby for a very long time. And I said, why were you in the lobby, right? Why weren't you not admitted? She said, well, I saw the counter that said 12,000 people are in the experience, and I couldn't join with my avatar till some people left, right? So there are, to me, in the metaverse, there are private group experiences with you and your friends, and then there's the public experience of the metaverse, where you're with thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people, right? Represented as an avatar. Now, that brings, even to someone like Facebook doing that event, that brings issues around concurrency, concurrent users. How does technologies like ours and Tiledmedia's and Pierre's handle concurrence, users concurrently? Do they interact with each other? How do you interact with 100,000 people like in a concert? Do you only hear the people near you, right? So a lot of, like Rob said, technology is evolving. What we've been doing, I've already seen early prototypes from my team of video communications in a 3D environment. Let's call it that, right? So today other companies have it as avatars, but I want to communicate with a friend that I see a real video of them, not an avatar, right? But there are so many problems with that. If you're wearing a headset or you're wearing an Nreal glasses, how do we capture your face? And that's why we have avatars today, right? So yes, we've got early prototypes from our engineering team. I've seen them. but we want to get to a point. It's not avatars where I'm seeing almost a 3D image of my friend or my friends around me. But there are going to be technology loops. How do you render so much information? That's a problem because these are huge volumes of data, not flat 2D screens like on a laptop or a mobile. So yes, to answer your question, I've already seen internal prototypes working, but it's going to take partners like we need to partner with edge providers, telcos, and work together to that. But we will run the video calling engine communications.
Okay, amazing. That sounds really intriguing. So the next question goes for Pierre and Rob this time. Well, Rob, you can start maybe. Is there a need for the metaverse to consume video?
Yes. And I could stop there. Full stop. But what do people want to do? They want to watch live stuff. They want to watch live music. They even more want to watch live sports. And there is the simplest way by far, and I think it's going to be the only feasible way for the foreseeable future to distribute live sports massively, is by just capturing it with a high resolution video camera that's suitable for a virtual environment and then distribute it. That's the like. I can't think of having to do this as a 3D capture, volumetric capture, and then having to do an analysis synthesis cycle in all clients, millions of clients at the same time. So why not capture something in extremely high resolution video and then efficiently distribute it? Which obviously I'm promoting my own technology now, but that's the way to do it. And I'm intrigued by when Paul says I'm trying to do video of participants. I've done this with avatars. Like I watched a hockey final from Beijing together with somebody from Toronto. He was just sitting virtually next to me, but not as a video or even an avatar. I could talk to him, which was good enough for me at the time. I've done the same thing with avatars that were moving. And we've done early experiments at the company that we spun out of, even before 5 years ago, with bringing people in as video into that environment. Because again, it's the most, you don't need to do complicated things to bring them in as video. So, but to go back to your basic question, live is important. Large-scale events are important in the metaverse. Shared experiences, that's one of the key points, I think. And the shared experience is the best and the easiest and the best quality to do that just with high-quality video distribution. It's fairly simple.
Thank you. I'm glad you explained a little bit more. Pierre, what's your take?
So I would also 100% say yes, there is a need, but I have also a different perspective. So I think the need comes when you look also now how the pandemic came. We were just locked at home, and actually what happened is we wanted to experience the same kind of events we have been experiences together, like in person, just still doing it, like having, let's say, some parties together, some conversations, then watching live games together. Maybe some people just, put their iPads there or try to do that. And then I think Sceenic, for example, enabled a lot of shared and watch together experiences based on that. But it's still, let's say, watch together, right? You watch something together. And I think the metaverse will be something like you be together. You just get it together, like a party, like you have met and you travel there, you just be much faster at that place. And I think when we first see these metaverses or environments like filling up with more and more people, also the ways people want to interact and express to each other will change. One example would be, let's say, Instagram. You started with really photos, right? And at some point there were like videos, part of that. And I think now the video part is even stronger, the short clips you see with TikToks, because you can express so much more emotion, so much more messaging into the video format. And I think live sports will be a huge hit, like Rob says, because you can really watch the game in your private group or community together and experience that. But I think it will be used to also by very creative people to create an even better experience in that metaverse. And I think video will be used for a lot of ways to experience something in that space. But we're gonna see probably a lot of companies and also very talented individuals to come up with great ideas how to use video in these spaces moving forward.
And can I just add a number because this goes to Rob and Pierre's point.
Sure.
Enreal, I don't know if you guys read the article from Enreal. They did an experiment in Germany, I think with Deutsche Telekom.
Yes.
And I can share the article with you, Susanna, so you can give it to the audience. They reported something like high 70s% of users, what they did on Enreal glasses is watch video. Right? I guess it's good news for Rob and Pierre. So they didn't, yet go to exploring worlds and things like that. But yeah, they were watching video content. You don't have a 85-inch, Sony Bravia at home, and now you can, right? In a virtual world. So I just wanted to throw that out. I remember I was shocked by the number being 70 or 80%. What they were doing on Enreal glasses was watching video content.
The new Htc Flow. It's a really cool device. It's got a much better form factor than like the Quest, for instance. Mm-hmm. But it's optimized for video consumption basically, and it's even targeted at video consumption. I was disappointed the Go went away because it was such a nice little device for video consumption. But yes, more people watch video than anything else.
Perfect. I think then that video part is going to be part of the next question, because the next question is, what is Tiledmedia and Sceenic vision of how entertainment in the metaverse will be like from requirements wise?
You want to go first, Paul?
I've gone first, all the questions, so over to you, Rob.
I can do first. Well, from my perspective, it needs to be high quality. And we started with 4K VR, and 4K sounds amazing if you have a 4K TV at home. If you're in VR and you have 4K, it's utter garbage. It's just so bad. And then we went to 8K 360, which started to look a bit acceptable. And now what we did in Beijing was 8K 180. And now I am convinced it starts to look nice and good. But my first and foremost requirement would be it needs to be really high quality. It needs to start approaching TV sharpness and quality. And then there's other requirements like people have to see the same thing at the same time. We have to keep them in sync, which is something that's in our core business and that's in Paul's core business as well. You need to add stuff around it to enable social interaction, etc. But from my perspective, it requires the high quality and it requires the flexibility. There's things you can do in a metaverse that you can't do in real life. For instance, when we do Sky Worlds does Premier League football matches, and it has a view. You're in this seat. You're in the what's called the camera one position in broadcast land, which is just in the middle, just the best seat in the house, basically. You have a great view of the field, and we also project a virtual big TV screen in front of you. So you have the best of both worlds. There's just a great football match playing out. You see goal to goal. You can see what the keepers do, etc. You can see all these things. That you can even see streakers if they appear. And usually the director cuts away from the streaker, but you can see them. But you also have the director cut, the TV registration. And we even make available additional camera viewpoints that nobody at home gets to see. And they're so easy to select with your pointer. You just select one of these thumbnails. It becomes big. So there's a lot of interaction options that you don't have even in a normal TV that you can bring into what people call the metaverse. Those are the requirements for it. Just needs to be a great experience. And to add to that, before I get too long, we see the average holding time going up in the sense that we see people spending longer in their headsets during matches. So it starts to get there. And again, what we did for Beijing, it's just 8K 180. That's just truly amazing quality at P60. And now it gets technical. but it really starts to be, okay, I can watch this for an hour or more. And I did myself, not just because I had to, but because I liked it.
Amazing. Paul?
About requirements, I would say, because we're about the communication between the people, is how do we capture them in 3D without having all of them have big, expensive cameras, right? Can it be done using existing laptop cameras, but capture me in full 3D, right? My back, my face, and so forth. So that's one requirement. I won't talk about the edge processing, like network speeds, because that's obviously a given, and Rob's kind of touched about it. My other requirement is like a plea to the industry, right? And it is, if there is no go-to-market for these headsets, like Nreal, right? Then normal people like me and you and us, if it's not like, remember back in the day when mobiles were sold for £1,000, £2,000 and only the elite had it, right? My requirement to the industry is the business model has to change. Like headsets, yes, they've gone down to £200, £300, £400, right? But it should be like kind of like buying a mobile. And you've seen Sky Glass go to a subscription. First time a smart TV you can buy on a monthly subscription, right? For £30. Suddenly, you know, a young person doesn't have to go and ask their parents or wait for Christmas to get like a £300 headset. But so that's my kind of like requirement, because, you know, VR, there was other things about VR, but it was about the go-to market of the actual device, right? And if Nreal doesn't make that happen with telcos and the resellers and makes easy plans, then we could be ending up, the metaverse will be on our laptops, like Fortnite is now, right? And it will be on our mobiles, because it's not going to be the software problem. It's going to be the device not being having a good go-to-market strategy.
I think you made an amazing point there, Paul. So keeping again on the technical side, Pierre, could you maybe guide us? I know it's difficult because there's no graphic support, but could you maybe guide us in how the entertainment experience from the user's perspective can look like?
So I think this is really just my personal view, how I imagine it right now. Maybe it's going to be a different imagination in a few months from now. But I think at its core, when you look now at entertainment today, there are two problems that also this industry and we are pushing to solve every day. We need to make it very easy to discover, let's say, all these different choices you can do, like the different series, TV shows, live events. And when we talk about in the context of entertainment, it's also games, right? So you have to solve content discovery in that space. And I think this will be so much fun, because there you can really not just draw some tiles and you have to navigate through them. You maybe, when you think about a kid's content discovery, you know, there can be really characters you can talk to, and maybe that they, you know, try to explain you what that content is if you touch them, whatever. But you can really do a much better content discovery in these virtual worlds. And the second part is, I think, what also, I think here we would also focus a lot on, once you've decided for something to play or to watch, we have to really focus on the best possible quality. But here I have not really a clear view yet. Is this going to be like a virtual cinema we would be sitting in, or like kind of get together and watch like on a big screen? In the context of sports, I'm just 100% sure there will be a lot of small communities. So let's say sports fan clubs meeting in some kind of fan bar or fan group place, probably before the game starts. Then they already start what they always do, you know, talk, exchange, make betting, whatever around that big event. And then they're going to watch it somehow. And this is going to be so cool, because I think all the world around content discovery and this experience will merge. So it's not like you enter a store and you have to select something. Being in that space is already part of the discovery process. And there are going to be so much, let's say, different ways to recommend you a content. But just to summarize everything, I think we have the same challenges there that we have today. It has to be extremely simple, and it has to be highly personalized. So, because there will be the same problem as today. There's just too much content, too much choice. So the same issues apply. And I think the same ecosystem we see right now in entertainment will be also solving these challenges over there. But there will be new players who enable, this really highly, I would say, gamified experiences then. Because that's what companies don't focus on right now. If you develop a smart TV application, for example, you don't think about a user storytelling, how to get to a person to watch that content. It's more like you just recommend him the best assets you have based on what he has done before. But maybe there are like games that you play, and that through that you figure out what you're going to watch next. But it's going to be so much fun. And I think we're going to be all part of it. So I feel lucky. Yeah, the next 10 to 20 years, it's just going to be amazing what people will come up with. And I think it's going to be the young people creating and being extremely flexible what the technology enables here. So you hear I'm very excited. So, but now I need to stop because I could continue maybe for another 20 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Per. You mentioned sports, and I think we have quite an expert here. So, Rob, what are the future perspectives of immersive sports in the metaverse?
It's going to be huge, I think. It's the first and foremost application, because just imagine the games, just imagine the World Championship soccer. There's audiences worldwide. So it points to another requirement, which I didn't mention, by the way, which is that anything we do needs to be extremely scalable. And with we, I mean you guys, Paul, 3SS, it needs to be extremely scalable. And I think somebody already dropped the edge. I'm happy to report that our stuff does not require edge functionality, which makes it extremely scalable and affordable. But so sports drives just so much engagement, so much commerce, so much interaction and it's always at the forefront of innovation. And we are talking here about the forefront of innovation. This is all about innovation, what we're doing. We're trying new stuff with new technologies, and sports are going to drive it.
Perfect. I think I have the feeling we are talking about a lot of ideas. A lot of the stuff are already here. But the other things we are talking about, when will those ideas will become a reality? And how do you see the experience will be on virtual reality, augmented reality, and extended reality? Rob and Paul.
Now
you
Paul
can
can first.
Perfect.
I just have my turn, so.
Yeah.
When will it be a reality? Look, yesterday I visited the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, the Telefonica stand in the Metaverse. I don't know if you guys checked it out. It's metaverso.telefonica.com, right? I logged in, I chose my avatar, and then I explored their stand, which I went to last year, right? And I obviously went first to the living room. They had robotics, they had drones, something. I went straight to the living room experience, right? And then there was an option to choose the multi-user. They call it multi-user, right? So I accepted that I allowed to be there with random people that I don't know. That's why I talked about shared experiences being private with your group and then public, like a concert, right? And Pierre touched about, will you sit at a bar, but maybe on your table, but you see avatars of the others, right? So when will it be here? Reality, Susanna, I think it's already here, but it was on my laptop, right? I wasn't like hugely immersed. I would have probably preferred some kind of headset to be really walking around and, and not moving my laptop or something. But it was already there, and the multi-user experience was there, so I could see avatars of other people who were at that time looking at the same thing as me, right? I couldn't talk to them yet. I don't know if we were synchronized, if I moved the screen and moved for them, but I saw avatars. And then the other thing I want to give a shout out to is the BT Sport team have a XR project that Matt Stagg and many others and many partners and are working on an XR project of how you watch sports through some kind of probably XR headset to see, boxing results, to see the boxing ring like literally in your living room, right? In XR. So I think they've already shown a first beta demo of that, right? And that takes how you capture that, how you show it. But yeah, so things are already here, and then I think BT Sport is already that's super advanced because it's using some kind of XR glasses or something, and you see the boxing ring, like if you want to see it on your kitchen table, you see it on your kitchen table. That's really immersive. So those are the two things that I wanted to give a shout out to. I could go on forever, but I'll stop there.
Thank you, Paul. Rob?
I agree. It's here today, and it's just an evolution. I can keep coming back to what we do, but let's point to what Sky is doing with Sky Worlds. I've touched upon the Premier League football. They now have 2 to 3 matches each week, which is social. But it's not just that. They have Monday Movie Night. All of these Sky's sports channels are in that app. As just a huge, giant, big screen. We've done cricket. We've done netball. I'm sure more sports will follow. It's just the early stages are visible, and it's an evolution from here on. And it's already social. It's already here. It will just get better, and it will evolve. So
great, thank you. Let's talk about money. Pierre, how can media companies monetize Metaverse experience in their ecosystem?
I think many people are looking for that answer right now. Not only media companies, but I think in general, I have no answer to that question that really would help now somebody to follow up on making a business plan and just start a business and do it like that. But I think right now, and that I think we can share that probably all here, we are at the beginning. There are not yet, I would say, enough people using or are part of these metaverses. And I think also Paul mentioned why these headsets are too expensive. So there is hardware required to really experience the metaverse, or let's say a much better experience than is out there today. So we have to get the hardware to the people, and then you will see how it will take a lot of time until we have, let's say, millions or even billions of active users logging in there. But I can already, that's also, again, my perspective. We can already see that all the big companies also working on headsets. And Apple View or whatever they're going to call it, it's around the corner. They have it. It's just depending when they're going to release it. If they don't have the pressure to release something yet, then they will just take more time to optimize the quality. But I think many companies are working on these hardware or its equipment, no matter if it's glasses for AR, VR, XR, or even sound like the AirPods with spatial audio. There will be much more equipment becoming available. And then we're going to see suddenly a rise of daily, weekly, monthly active users spending time in these spaces. And then all the big brands, no matter if it's around sports or fashion or others, will need to be there. Because suddenly the screen time that people are spending will just decline on probably the mobile apps, because people will spend more time than inside these experiences. And I think then it's just going to be the question, what's going to be the most exciting content that everybody is willing to pay for? And I'm 100% with you, Rob. It's going to be sports. There's just so much, there's such a large community. There's always a shared interest. And people are just willing to pay for having this joint experience and exchange around their joint interest. But I think we're going to see also that we have in the metaverse then completely new business models. Like you see it already in the gaming area that you can play to earn. So users can actually spend time doing something, maybe a little bit Ready Player One, doing a race against others. They win some tokens or coins or whatever, however you're gonna earn then there, and then you can spend it on other things. And I think that tokenization or earning coins will be also part of that new monetization concepts in the metaverse. I'm not saying it's going to be view to earn or experience to earn, but it will be something like that in all this Web3 trends that we're seeing in parallel to those whole metaverse developments. But I mean, I would love to have this answer already by myself, because I probably would also invest into it, or we create already something, but we will jointly explore. And there are many cool concepts and companies, and I love these companies investing time and not only time, really also their passion into it, because there have to be some people creating some new pillars to get further. So looking forward, what's next here.
Thank you, Pierre. And yeah, you just said looking forward, and actually we came to the last question of this podcast episode, and it is for all of you. What are you looking forward to the most in the metaverse? Paul, you can start if you want.
Spilling a beer on my friend who's like 2,000 kilometers away, and he or she gets wet whilst we're at a virtual concert. That's what I'm looking forward to. So I will spill it in London, and they will like get a shower in Poland or Germany or wherever, right? Like at a concert. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think your friend is not going to be looking forward to that, but thank you, Rob.
It's like Paul's. It's just meeting people, hanging out with people, and it being just like real. I've watched many a Premier League match already with friends from Sky. It's just amazing. You just sit there, watch the game, comment on the game, and you just chat about life and about things and about kids and about. It's great, and I don't have to go to London for this. I watch a great game and I hang out with great friends.
I agree. Pierre?
So I imagine that it would be awesome in the metaverse to learn. So I would love to have a much easier concept of e-learning, and it's much easier to meet actually experts who really know their stuff and learn from them in a short private talk or maybe a group talk, maybe more this clubhouse kind of topic in the metaverse. So you meet actually real experts about streaming, about co-watching, about building the UIs, but also on a personal level to learn maybe from a fitness trainer in the verse how you should do your training to be more healthy, or what you should eat. So this whole learning stuff in the metaverse, I'm looking forward to.
Great. Well, thank you a lot. I have to say, I think it's a really interesting episode, and also as a person that didn't know so much about the metaverse, I think your takes will be really helpful and insightful for the people. So I'm really happy you were here, and I hope you come back to another episode, maybe.
Thanks for hosting us, Susanna. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
This was great in the 2D verse. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Now it's